Marikana. The entire world will probably continue to know Marikana as a mining village in the northwest province of South Africa, where mining employees were unfortunately brutally murdered. Maybe we'll probably have people who knows Marikana as the leading community that mines platinum. Maybe we will also consider Marikana as a place that we see thousands of people flocking into every year because they come into those mining villages to look for jobs. Although that might be true, for me, Marikana is home. Yes, I was born and raised in Marikana. I'm born a triplet. I remember at a very young age experiencing my mother go through physical abuse by my father. And eventually at 11, I gathered courage and I asked her, "Why are you not leaving?" And she said to me, "Because we depend financially on your father. If I leave, we will not have any means to take care of you." At that age, I realized that when women are not empowered and are not self-sufficient, they stay in toxic relationships. And that was my mission. That was my purpose statement. I was determined that I was not only going to take my family out of poverty, but I was going to take myself out of poverty. And if I did that successfully, I also knew that it means my children will never have to face that poverty. My mother then had to go and look for a job. We were raised by my grandmother. What a pioneer. What a passionate community builder. She ran a business of making magwinya, fat cakes, fat cooks. For those who are not South African, it's a dough that is fried. It looks like donuts. I think that's how we can explain magwinya. And of course, we were known to be selling the best magwinya in Marikana. I remember having to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to help my grandmother to make the fire. Because of that level of poverty, energy poverty to be specific, we would take anything, whether it's plastic, coal, paraffin, wood, sometimes even animal dung, anything that could catch and sustain a flame, we will make fire so that we can make magwinya. On rainy days, unfortunately, it meant no income for my family because then the wood and the cow dung will be soaked in water. But also remember that miners depended on grandmother's magwinya for their lunch box and for breakfast. It also meant that they will have to go to work without that. Because we also used fire to burn the water, it meant we had to take cold baths and go to school on an empty stomach. Why is this important? Today, millions of South Africans and billions of Africans still have to face such harsh realities of energy poverty. Energy poverty does not only matter to me because I went through it, but it matters because as a businesswoman, when I was sitting in those rooms and the country was discussing energy transition, some they even said just energy transition. It was interesting for me to understand what is just about this transition if we are leaving the marginalized communities behind. I then went back home to do a research to understand what does it actually look like. And to my shock, the circumstances had actually worsened. And that is the reality, that when we get successful, we leave those communities and things just don't get better for them. And because we are so far removed from it, we still can say, I grew up in poverty, but we don't understand the harsh realities of how it looks. 24,000 children die every year in South Africa because of paraffin poisoning. It's because in those communities, paraffin is normally stored in juice bottle or cold drink bottles, and children will drink it assuming it's something that is safe for consumption. 48 women are reporting what we call firewood rape, because when they go into the field to collect wood, they are then targeted and they are raped. Household air pollution causes about 11% premature deaths, unfortunately affecting women. Ladies and gentlemen, these are not just statistics, there are real lives behind these numbers. We therefore see clean cooking as a driving force, an enabler to achieve some of the following things. For us to achieve clean cooking movement that I'm very passionate about, we need to look at the issues of accessibility, affordability, reliability, and safety. Hakem Energies has founded an innovative LPG box where we have taken LPG, liquefied petroleum gas, into those communities. All of a sudden, a fuel that has been used by industries and by medium to high living markets, boom, it's accessible to those communities, changing their lives. And it's also important for us to drive education because Black people still are scared of gas. They think it's something that is dangerous, and that becomes a lost opportunity. And that is the reality. If we do not go on the ground and engage these communities, we lose opportunities to really empower those lives. I also believe that clean cooking movement will really be the catalyst for women empowerment. It is shocking to see the statistics of how very few women are active in the energy space. And women should be at the forefront of this industry. And why is that important? Because women are the primary users of energy sources. It's them who cook for their families. It's them who cook at their job places. It's them who run NGOs and community organizations. It is women who should be at the forefront of this movement. And I see myself standing here as a champion that will make sure that other women which are coming into this industry will not have to pay the school fees that I have already paid, but we will be able to hold their hands and make sure that they are at the forefront of this empowerment. Now let me tell you a little bit about May Yvonne. May Yvonne is a single mother, just like my mother, who runs a fast food business in a taxi rank in Rustenburg, Northwest. The advantage that she has is that in 2001, her employer introduced her to LPG. When she had the opportunity to start her business of fast food in a taxi rank, obviously her first choice was to use LPG. She found other women which were using paraffin because they said paraffin is cheaper. But paraffin came at a cost because they constantly lost customers who said they don't enjoy the food because of the unpleasant smell that comes from paraffin. But because that is the power of women, May Yvonne could have chosen to see that as an advantage, but she instead educated the other women about how effective LPG is and how to use it safely because she had learned this from her previous employer. Today, I am proud to tell you that all the 11 women cooking in that taxi rank have now transitioned using LPG and their businesses are thriving. The other pillar that I want to challenge you about is education, impact, and sustainability. If you look at this passionate clean cooking movement, it talks to at least 7 goals of our sustainable development goals. So why are we not interested? Because all of us, we should. Whether you are a corporate, you need to be interested. Whether you are a policymaker, you have to be interested. Or maybe you are just someone as passionate as I am. Why don't you do your part? Because I believe this level of success, we cannot do it alone. We will need a collaborative effort as the country. Together, we can create a world. Just imagine this. Imagine a world where women have enough time in their hands to spend time with their loved ones and their families. They can support their children through schoolwork. But most importantly, they can be at the forefront of economic activities, running their businesses, mentoring other women. We imagine this world and we believe that it is well within our reach. Together, we can create this world. And what are we waiting for? Let's just do it. Because I believe that through LPG, we can change the world, one life, one family, and one community at a time. Thank you.